All right, I'm going to have a go at the Guardian's Cryptic Crossword for Wednesday, December 20th. I had a quick look through the clues, some amusing ones, as is often the case. There's a couple I think I know, so hopefully that'll be enough for me to get rolling. 150, well, that's in Roman numerals CL, May, riot, over European money for weapon. So it's CL and then an anagram of May. I thought a claymore. I think that's the right way to spell it, a claymore. And I think ORE, is that the Norwegian krona or something? The letters don't seem to make sense, but I think that's right. And then the other one, Oscar winner shockingly hits man's face. Well, even if you just think of recent Oscars, a 5-letter Oscar winner, you'll think of Will Smith. And so it's an anagram of hits plus the first letter or the face of man, M. So now we have some good letters for 12 across. New, question mark, my mistake, sending back old club. Well, nothing immediately jumps out at me. Old club. Excuse me, I always think of those old golf clubs, the Mashy Niblick. But it could simply be sending back O for old and then a word for a club. But my mistake, my mistake. Yeah, I think it's maybe more likely that my mistake sending back is the wordplay. Old club. Oh, yes, I think the spoon was an old name for, was it the wedge? And so new, and then my mistake is oops, and all of that gets sent backwards. But I think you have to know that a spoon was a name for a golf club probably 100 years ago. In Sweden, I was knocking back drink. Sweden is SE. So I'm wondering if it's, I was knocking back, and then a drink. Maybe it's not sure what that could be. All right, let's try this. Boycott gets 50 and left balls in bag. Well, there's a few ways to read that. 50 again is L in Roman numerals. So could that L be inside a word for boycott? And then we add another L for left. I'm afraid to think what they may be defining as balls and bag. No, nothing is coming to me again. Knight undressed, noblewoman. Well, knight undressed could be night without its outer letters, but it's definitely not nigh. Noblewoman ending in Y, lady, seems... Oh, it's not a male knight, it's Gladys Knight losing her outer letters. All right. After excluding two unknowns, group of stars, party. So I think we have to think of a constellation with 6 letters, and then we remove X, Y, Z, and we're left with a 4. Yes. So in fact, it is a general, I thought it was going to be a specific one, but it's just galaxy. Without the X and Y is gala. Does that help? Boycott. Boycott could be ban or bar, and then 50 after it. And left balls. Could it be the left letters of balls? No, not getting that. How about successful in Australia? Kelly's record is revoked. Who is Kelly? Well, of course, Ned Kelly. I'm thinking of pardon. If you get a pardon, your criminal record is revoked. But then, of course, it could be LP or EP, put backwards. But Kelly, I mean, but then it could end in DEN for Ned backwards. Oh, yes. So, in fact, if you're successful, you're golden. And Ned is in Australia, Kelly. And then the record is log. And that is reversed. That's a tough one. Now, boycott. Could it mean a bag of some kind? Excuse me. All right, let's move on to lied about conservative promises being tasteful. So lied about could be an anagram. So being tasteful, not delicate. Oh, how about delicious? Yes, so conservative is C, and then the IOUs are the promises. All right. Persuades wife to pay attention to Dennis. Yeah, so wife usually means the letter W. To pay attention to something is to heed it. And you have to know there was there probably still is, a British comedian, Les Dennis. That's what makes this difficult if you didn't grow up, at least, in the British Isles. All right. White meat course, partially cooked. Beginning with L. I'm wondering if it's going to be a shade of white or meat course. Could be lamb, but I think it's more likely to be a meat, maybe lamb, and then something for a course, and then part of cooked. Not getting that. All right, how about this one? Before Conservative parties finished, Johnson finally quit and gave up. Johnson finally quit and gave up. Johnson finally is N. I wonder if it could begin pre-C for before conservative. Parties finished? Could that be? Maybe it could be CP. But then I'm thinking it means gave up, which of course could be either yielded, to stop trying, or it could be to give up, to render onto someone else. No, not getting that one. Let's try this, see if the R could be right. They say sitcom family cuppa has majestic quality. So I think it's going to be a word for majestic quality or having a majestic, so some adjective. Not ornate, but something. And a sitcom. Well, there was the royal family, Royle. And then cuppa might just simply be tea. Has majestic, they say. So something that sounds like a... What other sitcom family are we expected to know? No, not getting that. Various nuts lacking individual taste. No. Overseas characters stuff up. Could be a word for some non-English characters. Like it could be the plural of a Greek letter, and it means something for stuff reversed, I think. Stuff up. No, not getting that either. Now, fair river in China. Is it the answer fair? And we have to put R, or maybe the name of a river, in some synonym for China. Are fair, words for fair and river together make China? No. Frightened, son leaving to be looked after. Yes, so frightened is scared. You take away the S for son and you get cared. Ooh, so now 4 down ends in a D. Gave up. Well, let me get rid of that since we don't know for sure. Okay, but let's look at big shot getting bowled out in haste. Yes, so funnily enough, when I looked at see something L, the first word I thought of was celebrity. Remember, that's too long, but that is a big shot, but you remove the B for bold, and you get celerity, meaning quickness or haste. Does that R in cared help our white meat course? Partially cooked. Course partially might be saying most of the letters of some of the letters of course, but they have to be anagrammed. Lam, is there a word beginning Lambr? lambersu, or what other meat? Loin, leg. No, not getting it. Asian state content to leave ludicrous targets. No. Unless it's a hidden clue in some way. No. USA proven, which is 9 letters, to distress, star having a meltdown. Very good clue. A supernova fits the bill, I believe. Britain had one politician detained by Ireland. So one politician is an MP, and era is what we put on our stamps in Ireland. So empire. Britain had odds. Britain had one. Yes, they had an empire, and then politician detained by Ireland. Another good one. Of course, I always think they're good when I can solve them. Maybe less so when it takes me a while. Repeats one's rights during revolting arrest. Well, one's could be just the letter I. Rights could be one or more R's. I'm wondering what the repeats, if it could be IR. And then that is during revolting. The whole thing means arrest. R, the whole thing means repeats. And we have one's rights in a word for arrest going backwards. I am thinking of stop. ST, so then would begin with a P, and then the O would either be in second or fifth place. But as that repeats. Oh, parrots is repeats. So I was on the right lines, but now repeats is parrots. Revolting arrest is stop backwards. And then ARR is one's just letter A, just the indefinite article, and then 2 R's for rights. I can see that. Just not sure about the A. All right, playwright was upset about ending of Macbeth. Well, upset. The ending of Macbeth is an H. So upset, could it be sad? Is Shad a playwright? I thought that was a guy, Shar or something. Let me Google that. Oh no, of course it's not a word for upset. It is the word was upset, to give George Bernard Shaw. I don't know why I didn't spot that immediately, but that's all right. No longer held fun rave with zero dancing. Well, zero dancing could be an anagram of zero. And does it mean dancing? But then all of those other words have to just result in 3 letters. No longer held, fun, rave. No, nothing is... oh, well, maybe just 0 is an O. No longer held. No longer... Fun, rave. Oh, yeah, maybe it's a word for no longer that is held or you get as a result of fun, rave, and O. Dancing. Is that possible? Oh no, it's that's too many letters, so it is not that. All right. Let's see. European Agreement on Snoring being music. Agreement on snoring could be one or more Zs. Ah, yes, so ja, German, and the 2 Zs gives you jazz. Mountain tops in France, usually just ice. Well, mountain top would be M, but then mountain tops, do you have 2 M's, or is it the M and the O? Where does France come into it? Usually just ice. That's so funny saying the J in 3rd position. What comes after it? Well, that could be a plural word, I suppose. Mountaintops. No, not getting that. Relative managed to break in to key U.S. city. So of course, it could be L.A. or N.Y., S.F., and the whole thing means a relative. But I think it's more likely to be a U.S. city with all of these other things. No, maybe not. Into key U.S. city. Ah, yes, it is a relative. It's granny. There's no one quite like grandma. There was a good article in The Guardian yesterday with one of the little girls who was part of the choir, and now, of course, much, much older, talking her about her memories and the guy who produced it. Interesting. Hated that song, of course, when I was a kid, and it was #1 for so long. Anyway, Asian state now begins with G. Asian state. Could it be targets? Not sure. Ooh, now this Z, yeah, maybe it is 0 anagrammed. Ah, yes, so no longer held is unfroze, I suppose. And it's fun, raving, or it's being anagrammed. And then 0 is also being anagrammed. Yeah, that Z was very useful. Ooh, and now our white meat. I'm still thinking it is going to be a partial anagram, of course. But what's the meat? Oh, Lambrusco. I know the word, but I haven't thought of it in a long time. Let me just check what that is. Oh, of course, it's a white wine. I am not a wine drinker, I'm afraid, but yeah, so the meat was lamb, and then the partial anagram of course apart from the final E, and that's anagrammed. All right. Now we get a nice M for the fair. River in China. I was just thinking about middling. Could be fair, fair to middling. But Ming is around the outside, but I don't think that's going to be it. There's our Sweden. I was knocking back. Drink. Oh, I haven't looked at this one. Mountain climbing. Time for mega stand. Well, mega stand is a very odd word to put in there. But then climbing, of course, could mean, because it's a down clue, you have to reverse some letters. Time can be T. What is a mega? What do British people take that to mean, a mega stand? Is that a phrase in everyday parlance? No. All right, let's look at our big actor briefly dropping hot containers. So I think it might be a nickname for a big actor. So briefly, and then you drop the H and you get something for a word for containers. So who is an actor known by a nickname? Of course, it could also be Big B, and then the actor briefly dropping H. Not getting that. Salmon provided by shop in Kensington. Do we need to, I know in some of these London ones we have to know the postcode, so I may pause and look that up. But salmon, I think salmon is going to be the definition. Could it be someone named Salmon? And then if Kensington is going to be a 2-letter abbreviation, then shop, because it has to be in Kensington. So I think it has to be a 2-letter, then with a 2-letter for shop. What's a 2-letter acronym for a shop? Oh, maybe it's something like MS. Not getting that. All right, have I looked at all of them? I think I have. Yeah, let's see with a very clever cluing. 11 down is a new word for me. All right. Oh, okay, so I'm not the only one who had a little bit of trouble, but it was in the back of my mind. Finally quit and gave up. I think it is going to mean gave up. Johnson finally must be the N. And then what's quit? Something to do with the D, I suppose, must be quit. No. All right. I think I'm going to take a pause here, go to some other Christmas preparations and then take this back up a little later in the day. All right, resuming this crossword, I realize, of course, when I said the royal family, that's exactly what this was about. Royalty is majestic quality. Sounds like the royal family show, and then tea. And then I think boycott gets 50. I did say ban or bar. I think it is, excuse me, ban around the outside. We have 50 and left. And then the balls are 2 O's. And so they're using bag as a synonym for balloon. Let me go ahead and check that. It doesn't seem right, but it is correct. I don't understand why balloon is bag. Maybe some other sense of the word. All right. Fair river in China. So I thought some more about this one. I think a word that came for me to be fair is to be moderate. And the river is the odor, which is inside of mate. So Cockney rhyming slang, China plate, me old China is your mate. And then this one, gave up, seems like conceded. I can certainly see con being conservative, but party's finished, Johnson finally quit. I don't get that, but let's go ahead and check that. It is right. And this one, I realized it is nuts is an anagram indicator. The word various goes nuts. But without I for individual, that seems a little suspect to me, using the letter I to stand for individual. Anyway, taste is obviously savor. And then I think this must be etas. I did think it might be Greek letters, and that is sate reverse. So if you stuff yourself, you, excuse me, sate yourself. And then this one, I realize it's a hidden clue with the words being also backwards. So starting with the W in was and working backwards, we have wine. Oh, and on the subject of wine, I happen to have because I don't, searched on Lambrusco, and I think, according to Wikipedia, it's a red wine. So curious why the definition is white. Is Wikipedia wrong? Are there white and red varieties of Lambrusco? Anyway, let me know what you think. What other ones did I get? Oh, yeah, 17 across, salmon. I realize that's also a color. Pink, and then I'm thinking, oh, is there a famous shop called Pink? And I realize, no, it's another hidden clue shop in Kensington. So that's easy enough. Do I have any of the remaining 4? I don't think so. 14, big actor, briefly dropping hot containers. I think they love referring to Tom Hanks, so I think it's, of course, the actor from the film Big. Briefly meaning T. Hanks, but then you drop the hot and you get Hanks. Good. And now our Asian state, content to leave ludicrous targets. I think maybe it means targets. I can't think of an Asian state beginning with G, ending with S. unless it's like a state of India or something. All right, mountain climbing, time for mega stand. Still have no idea what a mega stand is. No. And then mountain tops in France. I was trying to remember there is a mountain range in France with a J and had to look that up, the Jura, but I don't think it's anything to do with that. Here, mountain tops in France, usually just ice. No, so I'm going to give up on those last three. Let me start with the mountain climbing. Platform. Can I see how that is derived? Well, a stand is a platform. We also have 4M. Oh, yeah, the mountain that is climbing is an Alp. Then we have T4 and then M for mega, as in megabyte, etc. Does that help? Mountain tops. Oh, yeah, so Mount Fuji, the tops of France, usually just ice. Yeah, I was wondering about that J and how I could work it in. Yeah, I completely missed the tops word signifying we take the first letters. That just leaves Asian state content to leave ludicrous targets. Well, grass, but I don't see that. All right, let's go ahead. Goals, oh, of course, are targets. So, Goa, I think, is the Asian state. And content, oh yeah, the content of the word ludicrous leaves, giving us just L and S. Yeah, I definitely should have worked that one out. All right, let me go ahead and check all. Everything else seems to be correct. All right, well, there were some easy ones, but then some that were very tricky indeed. Thanks as always for watching, and have a great day.